Hello, friends. My name is Cami Fisher. I am going to embark on a journey with you all about making cookies and spending time in the kitchen with me in a variety of ways. I have a ton of cookbooks and I love to look at them and read them just like as if they were a book and pick out the recipes that I like, that I think I would enjoy making and or eating, and my family as well. King Arthur is one of my favorite baking supply companies. I use their flour exclusively and a ton of their spices and things of that nature. This is their cookie companion book. I also have a pile of other cookbooks here. The King Arthur Baker's Companion, anything you would like to make that you can think of is in this book as well. And the big book of bread, recipes for every baker in here. I also use the book on pie a whole lot. I love Erin Jean McDowell. She has a million gajillion recipes on different pies for the beginner to the advanced baker. And B. Dylan Hollis, he's a really cool guy. He has a lot of little reels, and he has this book called Baking Yesteryear, and he has a fun of cool recipes in here. Just for my daughter's birthday the other day, I made the mayonnaise cake in here. Absolutely delicious, and I think you would enjoy his cookbook as well. So trying to figure out how I wanted to start this channel has been very difficult. I'm not very comfortable in front of the camera. I stumble over my words. I don't know what to say, and I don't want to do a lot of editing. So the first few tries we've done haven't been the best. They're being edited now by our daughter, and they will make it up to the channel eventually, but I'm going to start something today and hopefully have a whole video for you in under a half an hour that does not require a ton of editing. So we had this grand idea about doing this channel Julie and Julia style. If you know who that movie where an actress wants to make a lady wants to make all of Julia Child's recipes out of Julia Child's book over the course of 1 year, and she did accomplish just that. I would love to do that with every single one of the cookbooks that I own, but I think I'm going to do that with this cookie companion cookbook from King Arthur. So the thought is I would make a cookie today, and I'm going to do your basic sugar cookie recipe, chewy sugar cookie recipe, which is in this book. And I'm going to kind of spice it up a bit, kind of add my own little style to the cookie. But anyway, and then at the end of every show or episode or video, we will spin a wheel that'll be labeled with all the numbers in this page numbers in this cookbook. And whatever number is drawn, we will turn to that page and we will make whatever that cookie is. So if we were to draw number 332, we would make the date pinwheels that are on page 332 in this cookbook. Try to make it fun. Try to make it a quick, simple activity we could do together and hopefully inspire you to want to get in the kitchen and start baking and cooking. And maybe we'll expand upon that one day and go into maybe the book on pie or the big book of bread or whatever other cookbook I like to get my hands on. One of the things I like to do when I'm cooking and baking in the kitchen is I really try to stay away a lot from a lot of already prepackaged processed ingredients, such as canned soups, instant puddings, jellos, anything that's already kind of prepackaged. In general, I try to stay away from. Not all the time. It's kind of hard, making everything from scratch when you have a full-time job is a little bit difficult, but I'm venturing out and trying to do more from scratch, baking completely. We aren't the best at it. We do still eat processed foods, but we are getting better. One of the easiest things you can replace with your processed foods is your different cookies and snacks and treats. That's a simple thing. You don't have to buy a package of Oreos. Actually, in this book here, there is a recipe for faux Oreos with a filling as well. And I'm hoping one day we land on that page so we can make some faux Oreos together. So I have a full-time job, and I am also a mentor at work. And I had a meeting with my mentee today, and we discussed this, that my husband and I have been discussing at nauseum on how to do this. And I keep running into a roadblock, and and he, kind of mentioned what my husband mentioned as well, just kind of get in with 2 feet and go. And he said, start today with making your favorite cookie recipe. And then from there, have your husband spin the wheel and get the page number for the next recipe. So I'm, based on my husband's encouragement, which is always amazing, and the encouragement of my mentee, I'm doing just that today. So he suggested I do my favorite cookie. I don't know that I have a favorite cookie. So I started researching different, I'm in Indiana, by the way. I started researching different popular foods in Indiana. And there's Indiana State cookie. I can tell you, technically there's not. You will find a website called Bake It with Love website, to where they proclaim that the Indiana State cookie is the sugar cream pie cookie, which you can find that recipe at the simplydesigning.net sugar cream pie cookie. I can link that below in the description box. But I didn't want to make a cookie that wasn't in my cookie companion book, so I decided to do your standard sugar cookie. But I'm going to roll it in coarse sugar, and I'm going to roll it in nutmeg, because that's kind of what makes a sugar cream pie so distinct in its flavor, is the nutmeg, the fresh nutmeg that you grate on top of your sugar cream pie after it's done baking. A sugar cream pie is an eggless custard pie, and it is absolutely delicious. My children like it every year for the holidays. I just made one for Thanksgiving. So I figured I would just kind of zhuzh up a basic chewy sugar cookie recipe with adding some nutmeg, and it'll pay homage or homage, I don't know how you say that word, to the state that I live in, which is Indiana. So I hope you stick with me while we get through this recipe together, and I'm going to go gather all the ingredients that I need to make this cookie and do any sort of prepping that you don't necessarily need to see we do on camera. So it'll be probably 10 minutes for me and a good half a second for you. Be back in a minute. Okay, I have gathered all the ingredients on the Essential Chewy Sugar Cookie. And if this recipe is on the King Arthur website, I will link it below. I don't know the etiquette of sharing recipes that are in cookbooks that aren't out in the World Wide Web for everybody to see. I will, if I can share it ethically below, I will. If I can't, I will not. So the Essential Sugar Cookie, this is going to make 3 dozen cookies. So that's not too terrible. It's only like 36 cookies. I think between us and my children, we can get these 8 pretty quickly. I got all the ingredients we need here to make this cookie. 12 tablespoons of butter are here. I guess I shouldn't go through and read all the exact measurements based on what I just said, but a stick of butter is 8 tablespoons, so I need a stick and a half of butter. Sugar, brown sugar, some sparkling sugar for the outside, some fresh nutmeg, because remember, I'm going to zhuzh it up and turn it into a sugar cream pie sugar cookie. Some sparkling sugar that I got from King Arthur a while ago. I love it. It's probably can't see it on camera very well, but it's a very coarse sparkling sugar. There's corn syrup. This little bowl has my baking powder, soda, salt, and nutmeg, believe it or not. My own homemade vanilla extract that I use with the cheapest vodka on the planet. And Vanilla Bean King's vanilla beans. Eggs. We have chickens, so we do need 1 egg. And the flour. The flour we need is over here. Okay, I'm back. And my husband just got home. So when he comes in, I get awkward because I never know what to say. So anyway, that's okay. We have our recipe here. It says we need to preheat our oven to 375 and lightly grease or line our baking sheets with parchment paper. I chose to line with parchment paper so it's less for me to clean. I also cut my parchment paper down to fit because I don't like when my parchment paper is all over the place. So I did all that so you didn't have to listen to the noise. I did all that off camera. It says next thing we need to do is in a large mixing bowl, we need to beat together the butter, the granulated sugar, the sugar, brown sugar, the corn syrup, vanilla, nutmeg, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and egg. All of that needs to be beaten together. I'm going to go based on my experience. I'm going to cream the butter and sugar together first for a little bit before I add the rest of those things, just to get a good fluffy butter. That may be a mistake, but I feel like it's not. Although sometimes when I make adjustments because I think the recipe's wrong, I end up being the wrong one, but that's okay. I'm not saying the recipe is wrong. I'm just going based on my experience. So we're going to get this butter, which by the way, I softened in the microwave. I have a soften butter button on my microwave. And when I do that, I stand the butter up on its end. It gets, in my opinion, it gets a better, it gets softened better that way. And it doesn't get melty in any spots. Had I been thinking, I would have pulled this butter out hours ago to get to room temperature on its own, but I was not. So there's our butter. This is our regular standard granulated sugar. And this is our brown sugar. I'm going to mix this together just a little bit. I pulled out the clear mixing bowl, glass one, so you could see what I got going on in here. All right, I creamed our sugars together. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the light corn syrup, which I've never seen a corn syrup in a cookie before, so I thought that was interesting. And I have this Pampered Chef measure to where you can measure liquids and liquids in one side and like solids in the other, and it scrapes the sides of the container on the way out, so you don't have to worry about getting it all out of your measuring device. And our vanilla extract. Can't tell you how much, I suppose, but until I find the etiquette, I don't want to be rude. The nutmeg, baking powder, baking soda, salt. That's all in this one little bowl here. And our egg. And being this egg was from my chickens, I will crack it into a bowl just to make sure the egg is good. I've never had a bad egg before out of my chickens, but it can happen if it gets set outside for too long and you don't realize it. We collect our eggs every day, but you never know what could happen. So you'll know a bad egg as soon as you crack it. This egg is good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and mix these together. Oh, found some butter that didn't get mixed there. I hope with each time that I do this, I get better and better and less awkward and provide a source of entertainment and hopefully knowledge as well to you as you're either learning to bake or maybe just looking for entertainment. And kind of funny sometimes, but I get really awkward in front of the camera. Okie dokie. And it says all we need to do is stir in the flour. So on my KitchenAid here, the very first notch says stir. So I will take that advice and I will stir this flour in, utilizing my KitchenAid. Well, it's my grandma's KitchenAid. When she passed away, I inherited her KitchenAid. So, and it's a pretty color. It reminds me of her. So every time I bake, I get to bake with my grandma. So let's get this stirred in. I'm going to show you a trick. I'm going to take a kitchen towel and I'm going to put it around like this so the flour doesn't go everywhere. If you don't, your flour is going to go flying. Or it could. It's not going to. It may. and you can hear your mixer starting to strain a bit, that's when you know it's probably safe to remove your towel. All right. Let's check this dough out. It looks good. Smells like sugar cookie dough. Looks like I might have to give it one little gentle mix again, just to make sure we got everything incorporated. Just to be sure. I see a little bit of flour. And he's coming in. So prepare for me to get awkward. Talking to you in the camera with somebody in the house makes me feel weird. Here he comes. Okay, I'm back. My husband came in and he left because he knows I get weird. All right, so to zhuzh up these chewy sugar cookies, we're going to grate some fresh nutmeg into our coarse sparkling sugar that I mentioned earlier. And if you've never seen fresh nutmeg, it literally looks like a nut, and it just needs to be grated on a microplane grater. And being there's not in the recipe, I'm just kind of adding what I think I need. We'll call that good. Maybe a little more. All right. And I scooped some of these balls previously while I was waiting to turn you back on. But all you do is get a tablespoon cookie scoop. Your family will be tempted to use it as an ice cream scoop, but it's not an ice cream scoop. Make sure they know that. You don't want to ruin your cookie scoops. I don't know how much these are going to spread. It doesn't say. Let me see if the recipe says. It just says place them on prepared cookie sheets. So I don't think I put enough sugar in here. I got to order some more. You don't have to use the sparkling sugar. You can use regular old sugar, but I thought this would give it a nice, the cookies would look nice with this thicker, coarse sugar on there. And you can, at the store, they sell sugar in the raw, turbino sugar, or Turban D. I can't remember the name of it. You can buy that as well. I'm going to do 5 rows of 3, I think. So I'm going to continue to do that. Get all these dipped in the sugar. Okay, friends, we have 1 sheet full of cookies. We got about 15 cookies on here. I'm going to set that one to the side and pull my other one over. I've been going through and just getting a scoop and dumping it back in, and getting a scoop and dumping it back in. I like to work as efficient as I can, and I feel like scooping and then coating in sugar and then scooping again and putting on the pan, and you're just putting the tools down so many times and you're extending your time in the kitchen. Now, I love to be in my kitchen, but I also want to be in my kitchen and do things efficiently, because my husband and I have raised 4 daughters, both working full-time jobs. So I have learned over the years that I do need to try to be as efficient as possible and get stuff done in an efficient way to make my life easier. Now that all of our children are grown and nobody lives at home anymore, I can slow down a bit and I have time to spend a little bit more time in the kitchen, but I still have that mindset of how can I get this job done in the quickest, most efficient way possible. So that's kind of my attitude with everything, even with my job. Work smarter, not harder. That's 100% my motto. Work smarter, efficient, and it makes your days better. You feel more accomplished at the end of the day. Oh no! I went to show you my cookies, and where I had them placed, and they all moved. But that's okay. We'll just move them back. All right, so we have 30 cookies, It says we're going to get 36 cookies out of this, but I bet we get every bit of 40 to 42 cookies out of this. I'm going to go ahead and get these cookies that we have rolled in sugar. I'm probably sticking my shirt in them into the oven. And it says to bake them for about 10 minutes, but it says bake them only until they're beginning to turn brown on the edges so they stay chewy. I'm going to put them in the oven for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out, switch places on my oven shelves, and start the timer again for another 5 minutes. I do have a convection oven. Although I'm not great at utilizing it quite yet, and I'm not confident in its ability, so I hear if it's a convection oven, you don't got to switch them around because the air circulates around, but I'm not there yet. Maybe someday. So let's go ahead and get these carefully in the oven so they don't move around again. So we actually got 47 cookies out of the dough that was supposed to give us 36. So I'm going to actually get a whole another tray and a couple more, right? Because I can only do 15 a tray, and I got 16, 17 here. So I'm going to get another 2 trays of cookies in when these are done baking. We have about a minute left before we even have to rotate, but I just took the opportunity while I was waiting to just scoop out the rest of the cookie dough and get it rolled in sugar. I'm just letting it rest on the parchment paper while we're waiting to get these on the other cookie sheets. Now, I could pull out more cookie sheets and I could absolutely line them with parchment and get these all ready to go in next. But that's a whole another 2 sheets of parchment that I have to cut. And I just decided I will just be patient and wait for these others to come out before I get these on another cookie sheet. There's no hurry. I know we need to work efficient like I just spoke about, but there's no reason to just hurry things through and waste more parchment and potentially dirty more pans, which with parchment you don't usually, but it's a possibility. So sorry, I'm looking down. I'm just trying to make sure my cookies are nice and coated in this sparkling sugar, which, like I said a little bit ago, I am almost out of. So I'm going to place a King Arthur order here soon and get more sparkling sugar, but I think I'm going to take the opportunity to get a couple other things from King Arthur that I've been eyeing up. Oop, there's our timer. One of them is pearl sugar, and the other one is non-melting powdered sugar. So when you sprinkle it on things, it doesn't melt off. So let's get these out of the oven and swap around. Okay, we did our timer for another 5 minutes. They did not spread as much as I anticipated, which is interesting. So I probably could have got 4 in a row, which would have been able to get, that means I would have been able to do 20 cookies per sheet. But then I still would have had to do another batch because I have 47 cookies here. Math is kind of hard. Looks like I'm going to use the rest of this sugar. I've been perusing the King Arthur website lately, trying to see what it is that I want to get. Because I knew I was running low on this sparkling sugar. So, like I said, the pearl sugar, the non-melting powdered sugar. They have this thing called boiled cider, which is really expensive, but I don't know. I'm going to research that a little bit and see what it's about and see if maybe I can make my own boiled cider when I decide what the heck it's used for. It's very interesting to me. I'm the kind of person that I like to have all the tools and all the things that I need, even if I'm not going to make whatever that is for a long time. I want to be able to have the tools at my disposal whenever I do decide I'm going to make whatever you make with boiled cider. So All right, we're just continuing to get these cookies covered in the sparkling sugar. When I finish in here this evening, what time is it? Oh, it's 6:30 Central. We're on Central Time here where I live. When I finish here, I think I'm going to head to my craft room and work on some Christmas cards. I'm very behind this year. I don't have enough made, number one. So I need to get some made, but I also need to figure out who to send them to because I have a list that I go off of. Get in and get everything addressed and ready to go. My goal was to have that done by Sunday, but Christmas is so close. But you know what threw me off was Thanksgiving was so late this year. Well, this is all the sugar I have left. This took so much more sugar than I anticipated, but that's okay. We'll get some more coming. You hear those noises in the background, that's my husband outside. We have cameras all over, so anytime you walk in front of a camera, it makes a noise. Anytime you open a door here, it makes a noise. So I bet you any money he's out back with those chickens doing something for him. Just trying to use up as much of this sugar as I can because there's so little left. Now, I'm at the age where when I see a container, I think, what could I use this for? Should I just throw it away? I don't know. I feel like I could take the label off and use it for something else. I don't know. I'll sit on it for a little while and probably decide just to throw it away anyway. So, all right. How much time do we have? 1 minute and 12 seconds. Let's see if I can peek my head in here. Well, friends, here they are. They're slightly brown around the edges. I'm going to let them cool for a bit. I think I may have overbaked them a smidgen because in the book it says if you get them too done, they will be crispy, not chewy. So I think what I'm going to do with this next batch going in is I'm going to do like 4 minutes and 10 seconds or 4 minutes and 15 seconds and 4 minutes and 15 seconds for a total of 8 minutes and 30 seconds. But I'm not going to make the decision on that until I let these cool for a minute and actually taste one with you. So, all right, I'm removing the last of the cookies from that first batch to put them on my cooling racks. I'm using this metal spatula that I got. Oh boy, it was an East Coast trip that my husband and I went on. We toured a lot of the East Coast, Vermont and Connecticut and Maine and all those places. I believe we got this though in Gettysburg. Got 2 of them. I absolutely love them. They're the perfect size. All right, we're going to allow this to cool for a second. These cool off real fast. I just don't want to put them on a super warm cookie sheet to where they start baking before they get into the oven. Again, they didn't spread as much as I thought they would, but there's no reason to shovel a ton on here, you know. I got plenty of cookie sheet space. We'll get these in the oven. So I set that timer for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And then we'll flip them. And by the time those are done, probably these will be cool enough to test to see if they stayed chewy or if they went crunchy on me. Are you team chewy or team crunchy? I'm both. On a homemade cookie at home, I do prefer a chewy cookie, but my most favorite store-bought cookie are the Tate's cookies, and they are crispy. All right, friends, here it goes. Crunchy outside, chewy inside. Definitely capture the sugar cream pie taste for sure. Absolutely delicious. Thanks for staying with me today, guys. I hope I see you again soon. Oh, we gotta pick our next recipe. Give me just a moment. Okay, I have our random number generator here. We're gonna hit the generate button, see what we get. 130. So page 130 is cheesecake swirl brownies in the King Arthur Cookie Companion. So next time you're with me, we will do these cheesecake swirl brownies on page 130. See you soon.